Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
Jordan has officially given Israel's new ambassador to their country, career diplomat Amir Weisbrod, the thumbs up. Weisbrod's approval to represent Israel as its new ambassador to Jordan means that the diplomatic standoff between the two countries is finally over. Tensions between Jordan and Israel suddenly spiked last summer when an Israeli guard killed a Jordanian attacker trying to stab him with a screwdriver outside the Amman embassy. A Jordanian citizen was killed in the crossfire too, though. Israel evacuated its diplomatic envoy from Amman and relations remained frozen for nearly half a year. That all changed this past January, though, when Israel agreed to pay the Jordanian government millions in compensation for the deaths and agreed to look into prosecuting the guard involved in the incident. A month later, Israel announced its new pick for the ambassador position, along with the news that the embassy in Amman was soon to reopen. Weisbrod is considered by most to be a solid pick for the job, and he's spent years in both Jordan and Morocco, speaks fluent Arabic, and is well regarded by both Israeli and Jordanian officials. Ahead of tomorrow's massive protest along the Gaza border, 2 more Palestinians have just been arrested breaching the fence and entering Israeli territory. The suspects were reportedly carrying a knife and wire cutters, and this is the 4th such infiltration of Palestinians from Gaza this week alone. The frequency of these breaches is even more alarming considering the I.D.F. has only beefed up its security measures along the border. Clearly, tensions inside the Strip, ahead of the massive 6-week protest set to begin tomorrow, is only getting worse. The terror group is rallying citizens to various tent cities along the border to commemorate Land Day, the anniversary of Israel's 1976 appropriation of Galilee land, which happens to overlap with the eve of Passover. The army is gearing up for what could possibly be the bloodiest clashes in quite some time. Nearly 100 snipers, authorized to use live fire if they see breaches in progress, have been stationed around the Strip. Additional troops have also been supplemented to the army's usual posts, which include special combat units. Hamas has called the demonstration a peaceful sit-in, despite their militia's largest ever live-fire drill earlier this week. Given this breakout of infiltrations, it's clear neither Hamas nor Israel believe much of this will be peaceful at all. Germany yesterday objected to Israeli allegations that they broke an agreement struck nearly 20 years ago to let Israel run for a seat on the United Nations Security Council unopposed. Supposedly, the agreement was made in return for Israel joining the Western European and Others group at the UN. Israel joined the WEOG in May 2000 as a temporary member and was granted permanent status in 2004. Germany denies saying it would give Israel an open path to the Security Council, however. Now, running for what would be its 6th term sitting on the U.N.S.C, Germany is running against Israel and Belgium for one of 2 seats left to be filled. 3 other spots were opened but will be given to representatives from Africa, Latin America, and the Asia-Pacific region. All 5 new members, whoever they are, will begin serving a 2-year term in 2019. While Israel continues to argue that Germany is reneging on their agreement, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas told journalists that they always run for a spot in the council every 8 years, and that, quote, "we do not run against anyone. We are running for a seat at the Security Council," end quote. It seems that the now infamous story of Gazan double amputee Ibrahim Abu THURAYEH being shot by Israel while in his wheelchair at a protest on the border is yet another case of Pollywood. Military investigations found that Abu THURAYEH was shot in the head at least an hour after Israeli forces stopped firing on the riot. About 1,000 Gaza Palestinians participated in the violent riot on December 15, 2017, throwing stones, Molotov cocktails, and pipe bombs. Abu THURAYEH, who was a regular at such protests and was there in his wheelchair, reportedly went to his family the night before and apologized to them for his decision to become a martyr. During his autopsy conducted by Hamas, it was concluded that Israeli fire was responsible. Israel has now concluded that that simply isn't possible. And it shouldn't be surprising. Even Abu THURAYEH's amputations have now been found to have happened under very different circumstances than he claimed. Abu THURAYEH and his family claim he lost them during an Israeli airstrike in 2008, but the Associated Press records show he was wounded in 2008 clashes with Israeli forces at a Palestinian refugee camp in Gaza. The Croatian government has now announced that Israel has won the tender to amp up its air force. The deal to buy 12 used F-16 fighter jets from Israel to replace their outdated Russian MiG-21s has been hailed by Croatian Defense Minister Damir Krstičević as, quote, historic decision guaranteeing Croatia's security and sovereignty, end quote. Various media reports the deal is being valued at $500 million, with the first set of jets set to arrive in 2020, and the rest by 2022. Other countries that submitted bids for this deal included Greece, South Korea, Sweden, and the U.S.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.